Whether games are good or bad is purely subjective, and largely dependent on personal taste. This is especially apparent in online games with more vocal fan bases. Rainbow Six, Valorant, Marvel Rivals, League of Legends, For Honor are all multiplayer games that, depending on who you ask, are either their favorite game and it's really good, or they hate the game and it's actually really bad. Well, actually a lot of people say that their favorite game is actually really bad, and I've seen people with thousands of hours not even recommending the game they're playing, but I digress. For example, my friend hates Rainbow Six. He thinks the community is toxic and the game has been going downhill for a very long time. But on Twitter, I once saw a guy glaze the hell out of Rainbow Six and say how much depth there is in the shooter and that he's excited to learn and play it every day. Who is correct in the scenario on whether the game is good or bad? Well, both have valid points, but since I haven't played this game since high school, I wouldn't really know. But here you can see how opinions can be completely different, even though they played the same game. Another example where you can see people debating whether a game is good or not is comparing one to another from the same genre. A really popular debate I'm always seeing on social media is Marvel Rivals versus Overwatch. People whine on social media all the time, saying things like, oh, Overwatch is bad because Marvel Rival has this, or Marvel Rival is actually bad because Overwatch has this. Some of these can be productive on how the game could be better with specific features, but a lot of it is just video game tribalism on why the game they play is actually better. An even older version of this specific debate would be comparing Dota 2 and League of Legends. You can already see the comparisons in the amount of core questions, Reddit threads, and YouTube videos. Well, today, I'm not trying to debate anyone on which one's better. I've already seen enough where people are comparing the two and criticizing either game. Today, I'm just here to tell you why I think League of Legends is actually a good game, and my experience from playing it. What even is League of Legends? Although League of Legends is one of the biggest online games of all time, it's not exactly the easiest game to understand if you've never played similar types of games before. League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA for short, published by Riot Games and is only played on PC. The game has its origins from Warcraft 3, with a custom map called Defense of the Ancients, or Dota for short. The founders of Riot were inspired by the custom map and wanted to release a standalone version that wasn't attached to Warcraft 3. So in October 2009, they released League of Legends. So here's how the game works. There are 2 teams of 5 with people choosing different characters referred to as champions in 5 different roles: top, jungle, mid, ADC, and support. Each role plays a different part in the game to come together as a team and destroy the enemy structures, which can eventually win the game. We're basically here to see who can destroy the other's house faster. The standard League of Legends game mainly consists of 3 phases: laning phase, mid game, and late game, with most games ending around mid to late game. There's a lot more about League that I can talk about, but this is more of a League video on why I think it's actually good instead of a what is League of Legends video. Before I touch on why I think League of Legends is, in my opinion, a good game, let me just touch on some things that I personally dislike about League of Legends and some general points people make on why League is a bad game. Obviously, League of Legends has a huge community. Many people have a different idea of why the game is bad or why they don't currently like it. Some common things you may hear could be how toxic the community is, the game's state, champion design, and general frustrations with Riot Games. Like, there has been a history of horrible design choices that, with hindsight, was super out of touch, metas that just are objectively toxic and are not fun to play. Its client and code are also relatively unstable, so that can heavily impact your gameplay experience and can really frustrate some people to no end. I've had my fair share of ready pop-ups not showing up for friends. But to me, these issues are being constantly fixed by Riot. Balance changes help reduce toxic metas eventually, and champions do get reworked when Riot feels like their designs are imbalanced or frustrating. And toxicity kinda just comes with every gaming community. Like, it's just something that's inevitable with online games that are team reliant. People will lash out in anger when they're frustrated with something. Problem that I personally have had with League in recent years is its monetization. Gacha skins with pity can cost from $200 to 400 Australian dollars, and the Hall of Legends skins cost up to 650 Australian dollars, and this just seems so greedy in my eyes. Gacha itself is predatory on its own and can influence people to spend large sums of money. It's pretty anti-consumer and promotes gambling in a game that previously, up to that point, basically had no gambling. We've had our Hextech chests, which gives random loot, but I don't know a single person who actually uses them to get new skins or have gotten addicted to them. While doing the gacha, there are other rewards you can get if you don't get the main skin, but if you're gonna be pulling on this gacha for the skin, you're gonna be wanting the main skin. And more likely than not, you're gonna reach the pity. The Hall of Legend skins are $650, and it's just egregious. Like, that's literally how much a Switch 2 costs. The $650 price tag, or 59,260 RP, also has other rewards in it, similar to the gacha, since you're technically buying a pass. This entire ordeal was just kinda weird. Hall of Legends is supposed to be this celebratory event to League's most cherished players, and them doing this whole macro transaction just made it seem really greedy. The only thing that can be said is that the game itself is free, and this does not impact gameplay at all. But honestly, even with these negative points, I personally still really like playing this game. I only play droppick or other featured game modes, and I don't touch ranked. So I'm basically playing in sunshine and rainbows unless I decide to drool all over my keyboard, or if my teammate decides he wants to watch a Charlie Chaplin film. I also rarely play by myself, and I usually play with friends, and I have my chat muted and play the game like an RPG. So my experience probably differs from most people, and I just interact with people I'm in a voice call with. To me, one of the biggest benefits League has is that it has an active balancing team that changes or adjusts the meta every 2 weeks. Yes, they're not perfect, as I've said before, and there are times they don't change much, and there has been times where they misjudge the meta and change the wrong things. But you can't deny that these frequent updates every 2 weeks prevent the game from being stale. This helps League keep the gameplay somewhat fresh for players who have played the game for a long time. New seasonal mechanics also forces people to adapt and think of new strategies, like new items or runes may make a champion play differently. League also has other game modes that can help prevent burnout from repeatedly playing the same game over and over again. I'm just gonna say though that I haven't played all of these game modes, such as Invasion from Star Guardian, the Odyssey game mode, etc. I've seen the gameplay, and looking at how Riot designs these special events, I'm a big advocate on that they should create a game based on League of Legends characters, but it's like a team roguelike, similar to Shape of Dreams. Newer game modes such as Arena or Era Mayhem has been extremely popular in the League community, and these game modes have been receiving constant updates to them since they've also cultivated their own player base. It's also satisfying to just get better at League. Obviously, this comes with every game that people play, but League has a lot of depth with multiple factors that can affect the outcome of the game. It has decently high mechanical ceiling, so your proficiency with a specific champion matters, the amount of knowledge you know on how champions interact with each other, good macro and micro skills to gain advantages, map awareness. These are some of the most important things that can affect the outcome of the game. And with over 170 champions, all with different abilities and different playstyles, it gives a lot of replayability. Some Riot devs have also been actively participating in the community. I know this isn't exactly the game itself, but these are the devs that help make the game better. And to see them on social media asking for player preferences, taking in feedback, helping out players when something unjust may have happened, or even just a funny interaction, is really showing me that the devs behind the game really cares about the players. And lastly, it's free. In the world where your friends will ask you to buy this $15 game and you play it for an hour and stop, it being free with zero gameplay restrictions tied behind money is a big factor in my book. I've been playing this game since high school during COVID and has kinda grown up with me. Being here as I transition into an adult, I've taken breaks from it from time to time, but I always like coming back to it whenever my friends get on. Maybe part of me just loves this game due to nostalgia, and the game is actually kinda bad, but I don't think I can ever bring myself to truly despise it, the game itself at least. I do hope League improves on some of its flaws, and I do have some hope with its monetization from the new T1 MVP Yoshi skin being priced at a normal Ultimate skin instead of the gacha price or the $650 Hall of Legends skins. One of the positives I originally wanted to say was that TFT is just included with League, but TFT as a League game mode has just gotten so big with its own esports scene and separate cosmetics that it has become its own game. Riot is even giving it its own client and are hiring people to port it over to Unreal Engine because of the technical limitations the Hexa engine brings, so I decided not to include it here. I don't think I'm gonna recommend people to start trying out League of Legends by themselves, but if one day your friends tell you they want to try it out, I think it's worth a shot. Thanks for watching. Bye.